Hey, what's up, man? It's Coach Rob back here for another episode of the Front Row Show. Cuz back in the building.
You know. J-Rob here, what it do?
And my special guest for today, we got Mr. B.A. Scott.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? B.A. Scott here. I'm excited.
Hey, fellas, how y'all living, man?
Man, I'm living good, dog.
That's good, cuz. Welcome back, man. What you been up to?
Man, I can't complain, man. Hey, life is good, man.
I hear you.
Just trying to manifest as much as I can, we all got the same 24 hours, bro. So that's just trying to do what I can with my time,
That's all we can do. Hey, B.A., man, let them know where you from, man.
That's a loaded question, dog. But I'm originally from Portsmouth, Virginia, so 757 stand up.
Okay.
If you know where I'm talking about, right outside of Virginia Beach. I spent some time in Lynchburg, Virginia. I went to school there. That's where I met Coach over here in Lynchburg, and now I'm here. I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina, man. I'm out here trying to, like he was saying, 24 hours in a day. I'm just trying to make the best of my 24.
So I met B.A. at Liberty University. I was taking my master's courses there, and we were in class together. I was like, oh shit, it's another brother in the class. I'm seeing all these white people left and right, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, master's course, not too many young brothers. Now there is brothers, but some of them, I couldn't really talk to them and be me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm me, I'm always gonna be me.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, we can talk about it, you know what I'm saying? So I saw he had a personality I can relate to. Educated, smart, and then we were in there with a lot of white folks. He said whatever was on his mind, so I'm like, hey, he really said that in class. These white people looking like, and he just real and open and keep it 100 and very respectful. Me and him kept in touch since. So
yeah.
Glad to have you on though, man. Thank you.
Hey man, I appreciate you hitting me up, dog.
So real quick, brother, I try to sit over here and be as humble as I can be and be quiet, I resided in Lynchburg from 2011 to 2016.
Okay.
I went to school at Virginia University of Lynchburg.
Okay.
Studied business management there. Played football and basketball there.
Oh, you know two of my homeboys then.
Who's that?
Jeff Payne. You know Jeff Payne, he hooped, he played basketball?
Okay, yeah, I think so. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You also know Laquan. I know you know Laquan.
Oh yeah,
everybody knows Lay.
Lay.
Yeah. Everybody knows Lay.
Shout out to my boy, man.
Yeah, shout out to Lay. That's my little brother, for real. Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, we actually played on the same basketball team together.
I was gonna say that's what I remember, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. It was definitely a special opportunity to play basketball and football in college. And again, shout out to your boy Lay, man, because Lay we definitely went at it in practice. That was one of my solid homies. And anybody that knows sometimes in high school and college is a slight disconnection between the basketball and football team.
Right. It is.
So me being kind of like the campus barber amongst the football team and the basketball team, shout out anybody who know, I was nice with the Clippers whenever. If I got you, I got you. When you see this, make sure you tag it and say, J-Rob, you got me out the way back in the day. 100. You need to cut nowadays, y'all already know, man.
Yeah.
I know you had your boy on here last week.
Right.
Keeping you clean. Nice with it, 100%. No hate in my blood. But back to Lynchburg, man, and I don't want to stay on it too long. Man, it's a humbling place, bro. And I'm sure
it's different.
I'm sure you found that out.
It's different. I'll be honest with you. It's a place where if you smart and you do it right, it's a place where you can really like launch yourself. Lynchburg is not the place to go if you're trying to blow up. But if you want a place to be able to settle in yourself, know yourself, understand yourself, and just figure out what it is, what your purpose is, that's the spot. For real, it's slow, it's quiet. You got a lot of time to think, a lot of time to just like.
Well, it's grown a lot, man. I remember when I was younger because my family's originally from South Boston, Virginia.
Okay.
And Halifax County, and we would go to Lynchburg sometimes to go to like the mall or something.
Yeah.
But when I was coming back for school, it grew a lot.
Oh,
like, they got a mall, they got all these restaurants. It's still not clubs and bars and things like that because it's ran by Jerry Falwell. He run the whole town. That. You know what I'm saying? But Liberty University makes the whole city though.
Oh yeah, a lot of the cash. The city girl comes from the students at Liberty, which is cool.
And you were employed with Liberty as well, so you know a lot that.
Yeah, I used to teach at Liberty as well. I was a teacher and I worked in an academic advising office. So yeah, when you met me, that's what I was doing. I was teaching as a assistant professor, and then I was also working in the academic advising office with freshmen and sophomores, just kind of helping them get acclimated and stuff like that. So
that's what's up, man. I mean, Liberty played a huge part in my making it professionally, just because I was utilizing their facilities. I mean,
They got nice facilities, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I knew some of their ball players, and I would just link up with them, bro. And I felt like I was at a D1 college, and I would meet you down the street, but we didn't have any of that. Lynchburg is a humbling place for a launching pad.
Yeah, like you said, because that's when you started really blowing up before you started trying out with the proteins and the Ravens and whatnot.
Facts, man. Again, some of the things that I was able to do in Lynchburg goes all the way back to the adversity that I had to face to overcome. Like you guys say, I mean, you linked up with him.
Right.
Only 2 black guys in your class, or what? So you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Of course, that's a commonality for us. Our people, we gonna link up with us.
Exactly.
And you know what I'm saying. We gonna progress forward, and that was kind of what my situation was at Lynchburg. It was a group of guys there that were from where I was from. We were probably about 8 deep, and we packed up and moved. You know what I'm saying? When I say packed up, I mean we linked forward and kept each other accountable for what we said we were trying to do, and we moved forward. And again, it's not a lot of distractions out there. You get yourself into whatever you you know what I'm saying. Trouble.
You get into as much trouble as you want to, but if you don't want to, then like you said, it's not a whole lot going on. The people who like I said, I got people that I've known since childhood, and then getting to Lynchburg, and like honestly, these niggas is locked up, but it's because of their own mistakes. They can't blame nobody but themselves.
Right.
But Lynchburg is definitely a place like yourself, myself, you, of like, yo, I went to school there. I was trying to build something. I was trying to go somewhere. And so, 100%. With that, I think that's huge. I think it's huge to be able to have a place like that, because a lot of people say a lot of bad things about Lynchburg and about Liberty because they don't know.
So you made the best out of your experience at Liberty. What organizations you were involved in? What did you do that you enjoyed your experience, since you said you had a humbling experience and it was a launching pad?
When I went to Liberty as an undergraduate student, I was an athlete.
Right.
Which a lot of people don't know.
Right.
But I was an athlete when I got to school. I was the D1 basketball player.
Right.
So with that, being an athlete and then going through the adversity of being injured, and then like that kind of going away. I was involved in music when I was at Liberty. I used to play and sing with a choir that traveled. I was involved with a lot of different academic stuff. My bachelor's degree is in marketing, and so I was a part of this thing called the American Marketing Association. And so really I was out here just trying to use my gifts, to be honest with you. I was like, you know what? I don't like to stay at home. I was working full time. I was working like 4 jobs in undergrad, dog. Because it was either work these jobs and get money, or do it another way and get money too. And so it was there. I had a couple of options. And so for me, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do what I gotta do to, because that's what it was. At the end of the day, I'm 19, 20 years old. I'm trying to get this money. To be honest with you, I'm trying to get this money. I'm trying to make the best of what I can and do what I gotta do, so that like I don't have to stress about finances and stuff in college. I was like, man, I'm gonna get this money wherever I can get it from.
Okay.
And so that was really what I did.
So you went to high school in Lynchburg?
I did. I went to EC Glass.
EC Glass, yeah. Okay, yeah. They I think was it Charles Hayes played football there or something?
Charles Haley.
Haley, yeah. 49ers Cowboys. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm a Cowboy fan, so all day.
I actually did my pro day on that field.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Right there on that back turf.
Yep.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
I love that field. We actually used to practice on that field too when I first got to
UL. Yep.
Yes, sir.
So I went to undergrad at Campbell. You heard of Campbell? They're in the same conference, and so my college experience probably was very similar to yours. When I went to school, I actually came from high school in Maryland and went to Campbell. It was 5% black in 05 when I went. Yeah. And in 2007 they added football, and more and more of us came. But when I first went there, half of the 5% were black athletes. I mean, were African Americans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this school mad different, but like you said, it's a launching pad. You make the best out of it. I made the best out of it. But did you have any experiences, you being a black male, going to predominantly?
Yeah, I mean, coming out of high school, I had a couple of options. I had a couple of options of where I was gonna go. I ended up going to Liberty because I got there in 06. And it was like this, we joke about it in my homeboys, but like it was like this great awakening. Like all these students of color started coming to Liberty at the same time. I remember walking into like the freshman seminar, and walking into a room and being like, oh wow, there's a lot of us here, which was great.
Yeah, it is.
And so with that, to your point, back to you, we stuck together. My freshman like group. It was like 20 of us, and we were deep. We were thick as thieves. We're everywhere together. I'm talking. We all had the same classes. We all went to lunch at the same time. We all went to the gym at the same time. We all worked out at the same time. On the weekends, we would all go out at the same. Like it was just we were family.
Right.
And so with that, being a part of that for my undergrad experience was good. The longer I was there, and even just like working at Liberty and then being a part of that, you see it differently because Liberty is vastly different from what it was when I went there.
Right.
I loved my time at Liberty, actually. I had nothing but black friends. I had a few white friends too, but the vast majority of people I was with were black.
Right.
Until Liberty started to change a little bit when Liberty got more involved in politics.
Yeah,
and so
they did.
what happened is that Liberty, being a Christian school, went to being a conservative school, which means that
Gotcha.
all the conservative white kids want to come to Liberty.
Okay.
And that's what they want to show. So then, like, people like us from our community who like, we're not conservative. I don't want to go there.
Got you.
And that's the difference which a lot of people
Okay.
don't realize.
Got you.
Like, when I was an undergrad, like I said, it was nothing but black kids. They were everywhere. You know, like, everywhere in Lynchburg. It was nothing
Right.
but, like, and we were all at Liberty hanging out, hooping together. We were all on Fort Ave on weekends. Like that's what we would do. We would all just, like, go and be like, hey, yo, you trying to hoop? You trying to whatever? You trying to...
Right.
But then, like, Liberty started to evolve into something different. And so that's the Liberty that you see now that has a vast majority of a minority of students that look like us.
Why do you think it changed today?
To be honest with you, it started with Jerry Falwell Sr. passing away.
That's what I think too.
To be honest,
Yeah,
because
that's-
I'll be honest, I'll give you 100%, which a lot of people, at least that I know, think that I'm crazy to say this. Jerry Falwell Sr. loved black people.
No, he did.
He was good to me and my family. He used to
Yeah.
drive me to class.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm talking like, he would see me on campus and be like, doot, and roll me like, BA, what's going on? Like, where you headed? I'd be like, oh, I gotta go. I can't be like, get in the car. He would drive me to
that's
class and stuff like that. Now, when he passed away, and then like other people got in those positions of leadership, all that stuff went away because none of it mattered anymore. Because now he's no longer with us.
Right.
And so with that, when things change, they start to evolve. It starts to look differently. Like I said, people started to involve themselves in other things and align themselves with people who didn't necessarily like follow the focus of what Liberty was as a school. And then once that happened, and once that was a thing, it was like, it was totally different. Because I left for a while, you gotta remember, and then I came back as faculty, and I'm like, yo, this is totally different from the school that I remember when I
What
graduated.
years were those, if you don't mind me asking?
So I graduated in 2011 from undergrad.
Okay.
I came back and started working as faculty in 2014, 2015.
Okay.
So there was a long period of time where like, cause like even like wrapping up graduation, you started to see it slowly. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like that, but whatever. Like I'm good because I still got my people.
Right.
And then what happened is that, like I said, I left for a while, and then when I came back, I was like, oh, this place is totally different.
Okay.
I walked into an office where I was the only person that
Hey,
looked
so
like
you
me.
were there when Seth Curry? Then he go to Liberty for like a year.
He did.
What to do? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So he was he nice like that when?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
So you were there with one of my high school teammates, Asa Chapman.
Yeah, Ace is my guy.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's
so
my
his cousin is a really good friend. His family, like his cousin, are really good friends of mine. Asa was always cool to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would see him out on weekends and stuff, and he was always just cool.
Okay.
He was a big teddy
Biggest
bear,
dude, bro.
a big
Biggest
teddy
dude we
bear.
ever
is who he
seen,
was.
bro.
Dang,
Always
yeah.
laughing, always funny,
Yeah.
but huge.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Ace is my dude though, bro. Like, but if he, just to tell you, my child, I was reckless young. I got into a fight with Ace. I mean, I know you probably thinking like, yeah, that didn't end up well, but nobody got hurt. You know what I'm saying? But it was.
That's a guy. But it was a lot.
that- but-
honestly, it's a lot of people like him though.
Right.
That made my experience cool. Like me and Ace
Right.
about the same age, and so coming in and like just knowing the other athletes and stuff like that, and just like being in the circles, like people like that who like on the outside, especially to white people, they'd be like, oh, he big and black and scary. He was hilarious. He was just
Right.
funny. He was always cracking
Right,
jokes.
right,
He was
right.
always he was chilling. He was always
I
cracking
remember he
jokes.
hosted a chapel one time.
Yeah,
Were
like
you there for that?
I wasn't, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so, but it was just like, hey, like we just gonna be cool, and that's how we all were, cause
Right.
we were like we all we got.
Right. Exactly. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we all we
yeah.
got. So like, hey man, we gonna do what we gotta do and get in and get out, get this paperwork, and
So you're a minister.
I am.
What led you to that? How long you been a minister?
Oh God, I've been actively doing it for about a decade now.
Okay.
My father is a pastor, and I come from a family of that, so
Okay.
it's a thing. But for me, I never wanted to do it. If I'm honest with you, I was probably like 19 or 20. I went to college. I enjoyed myself for the first 2.5 years. Did a lot of things.
Right.
But then about year 3, just some different things happened in my life, and so it kind of brought me back down. and kind of just like humbled me, to your point.
Right.
And I was looking for answers, and I found it in God, to be honest with you. And so I was like, you know what? I want other people to know this God. I want people to know Jesus like I do, because I feel like I'm vastly different. I'm not your average like pastor.
Right.
Most people see a pastor, they look a certain way, they talk in the King James Version, they dress a certain kind of way, they always shaking their finger at somebody, telling them what they're doing wrong. That ain't how I live my life.
Right.
I'm just as imperfect as everybody else. I'm just called to do something different. My purpose is different.
Right.
I'm no different than a doctor or an attorney or a teacher or a counselor or anything else. This just happens to be my lane. You know what I mean? And so for me, I was like, that's just who I am. Like, for real. Like, I never want to be, and I never will be, somebody who makes other people feel less than because I'm a pastor and they're not. I want people to know that like they can come and be a part of what I'm doing.
Right. You should be comfortable coming to a pastor.
I will hope so.
Yeah.
I will hope so.
Being open. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I counsel couples all the time, and I counsel people as a pastor, and I get to listen to their stories and hear their life. And so for me, they come in at first, they're always scared.
Right, yeah.
They're nervous.
You feel like you're gonna be judged. Or
they're like, hey, what can I say? Like, am I allowed to cuss? Am I allowed to whatever? And I'm like, if you only knew. Like, you know what I mean? And so, but it's not a thing of where I'm like glorifying doing things that are outside of what I think God has for my life. That's not what I'm glorifying, but I'm also glorifying being a human being.
Right.
I'm human, which means that I'm not perfect. I never will be, and I don't want to be. To be honest with you, there's nothing about me that wants to be perfect. I want to be human, so that other people know they can come and like connect with me, and they can just be like, hey, like, can I talk to you? Can I just like, whatever it may be.
So, pastor came from Lynchburg, came to Raleigh.
Sure.
What led you from Lynchburg down here to Raleigh, North Carolina?
Good question. I came to Raleigh, North Carolina to work at a church. And I came here. And this has been like a process. This is about 2 years in the making of time from me being on the outside to being on the inside, and then eventually they were like, hey, we want you to come to Raleigh and be a part of what we're doing. And so I came to Raleigh. I came here because I really in my heart was like, you know what, this is where God wants me to be. Like, this is my thing, this is my lane. And so I got here. I started working at that church in September of 2020, and I worked there until the end of January of this year. So I got here for a job. I was asked to resign from that same job, and yeah, it's a thing. It's a weird, very weird situation. A lot of it didn't make sense to a lot of people. Still don't make sense to me completely, of how we got to this point where it's like, yo, I picked up my life, everything I had,
right,
and
they know that.
Of course they do. And so they came, and then they were like, nope. Well, it wasn't even they. It was a person who just happened to be a person with a lot of influence, was like, no. And so everybody else was like, no, because he said no.
Is this a non-denominational church?
Technically, yeah.
It is, okay. So it's like, come as you are type.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So is it more like World Overcomers or C3, where it's a mixed crowd, or what kind of?
It is a mixed crowd. They are very diverse. This place I was at was very diverse. Very come as you are, like, dress code, and, it's just like, hey, just show up.
Yeah.
But the interesting part about it, though, is that although as a church as a whole, because this church is a mega church and there's 24 campuses throughout the United States, but here in this area in the Triangle, there's 3 campuses. There's one in, it don't matter, but they're in 3 different places in this area. And of those 3, they're all predominantly white. I remember walking in my first day to a staff meeting and nobody looked like me except for one other person. There was 10 of us, and of the 10, 2 of us were black, the other 8 were not. And so it's like, wow. And so even the place that I was at was predominant. It was a predominantly white campus.
I don't know what happened. Maybe you gonna put it out there, maybe not. But just from what I gathered, from what I see in the information, is you brought something they weren't used to seeing.
What it was that a little bit. There was, I always tell people, and I've been like this all of my life since I've been in ministry. I say there's just like pastoring people versus like following a process. And a lot of times churches get big and they're like, you gotta follow this process.
Got you.
I'll give you an example. So there was a Sunday where everything was fine. There was a gentleman who decided that he wanted to make like a step of faith. He said, I want to accept Jesus. I want to do this thing. And so I saw it. I got excited. I got hyped because it was the first time for me being at this church. I've been here for about 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, it happened, right? And so as soon as the service is over, I made a beeline for him. I was like, hey, man, I'm glad for you. I gave him a hug. I was just like, dapping him up. And I was like, hey, man, give me your phone number. We're going to meet up this week. Because for me, if somebody says they want to make a decision of faith, somebody has to help them.
Right.
You have to help them. Because if you are a person in a position of leadership, that is your job. Your job is to help them get to their next place. Not perfect living, none of that, but be like, hey, you got questions, come and ask me. If you struggling with something, call me. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hit him up on Sunday. That was Sunday. The next day we were in a staff meeting and we were just talking about the weekend and how'd it go, and I was super excited about what had happened. I said, oh yeah, I'm meeting with this dude today for lunch, and I'm super excited because he made a decision yesterday. And the one guy, the influential one that I was talking about before, looked at me dead in my face and he was like, hey, did you get him to fill out the form on the computer? And I was like, no, because like I wasn't thinking about a form on a computer. I'm thinking about this man.
Right,
yes.
Right.
And I was like, nah, I didn't.
Right.
And so he looked at me. He was like, well, you can't take him to lunch until he does. And in my mind, I was like, all right, I hear you. And so anyway, so I took him to lunch anyway, and we still talk to this day. And that was like, that was just like a thing of like, oh, you don't do it our way. And so time after time, there was a lot of other times that I could go into of like, you don't do this like our way. And so because I don't do it like your way, they're like, oh, you're not the right person to be here.
So that kind of leads me to, I think me and Cuz had this discussion earlier where you separate, some preachers separate helping people in church between numbers, trying to get numbers and statistics, trying to get numbers in the church and making money. So you got statistics, I want 20,000 people in my church. I want to make this amount of money, when the real goal is to help people. And
sure, I'll be honest.
To grow would be better. You feel what I'm saying?
I hear you.
I feel like some is crossing that line.
I don't, and this is why I don't. Because here's the thing: the reality is that if it works right, then everybody's happy. Here's what. Follow me. If people are coming to faith, right, and they're coming to be a part of your church because you're helping them, right, they're going to keep coming.
They're going to keep coming.
If they keep coming, they're going to keep giving. If they keep giving, then you're going to make the money that you're looking for anyway. That's the difference.
Okay.
That's the difference. And so with that, it's not about making money. Most churches are not. Right. Now, there are bigger churches, but you also have to understand, most of these pastors, these big churches, their church is not where they're making money at. I'll give you an example of one. T.D. Jakes. Everybody always talks about the Potter's House. It's in Texas. It's a big church, right? T.D. Jakes is making all his money from church people. No, he's not. T.D. Jakes is an author. He is a music producer. He is a film producer. He is a philanthropist. He does a lot of other things that put money in his pocket so that him and his family are good. His church is the last part of it. And so with that, pastors should be better businessmen.
Gotcha.
That's what they should be, to be honest with you. Pastors need to be better businessmen, because here's the thing. I'll give you an example. The reason why, even though I got fired in January, that I have not struggled in April is because I'm a good businessman.
Gotcha.
I make money other ways. We were just talking about this earlier. You were asking me about what I do.
Right.
I have all these other things that I'm doing.
Right.
So the money I make from being a pastor is irrelevant. The money I make from whether I'm officiating weddings, I'm counseling couples, I go and speak to groups of people, whether I things that I've written, like stuff like that. That's where like I get money from. Gotcha. That's where my pockets are. That comes to my pockets. Right. The stuff that I'm making at church is irrelevant. I would literally do it for free. I would. Right. I would do it for free because I believe in people that much. However, at the same time, this is a job though. So pay me what I'm worth.
Definitely.
Like if I'm teaching at your school and I'm a really good teacher and all my students are passing, pay me what I'm worth. Right. So if I'm at a church and I'm preaching every week and giving all that I got to these people and people are coming and we're getting bigger, pay me what I'm worth.
Right.
So give me what I'm worth, yes. But also like you don't have to suck all the funds out of the church to do it. Because most of these pastors that you see that have these huge platforms and people all the time want to go and be like, oh, this pastor is doing this, he's sucking money from the church. Look at their W-2 and tell me how much money they make from the church. I'll wait, because I promise you they're not making as much as you think.
Yeah.
And so, but that's honestly, as somebody in ministry, that's an easy thing. People always say, well,
Right.
church is full of these people and church is stealing people's money. No, they're not.
Right.
Actually, they're not. They're here to help people. It just happens that they also work a job. Just like if you work at Target or you work at Wendy's or you work at Food Lion. Guess what? Every 2 weeks, you want to check because you've worked every week. So why shouldn't somebody who's working every week, even if they're working at a church, why shouldn't they be paid? It's funny to me because a lot of times people look at people in ministry and they say, oh, I don't need any money, so I don't have a family, I don't have bills to pay. Last time I checked, Spectrum is still knocking on my door if I don't pay for my internet. Right? Dominion is gonna cut my lights off if I don't pay the bill.
My bill today, man.
So with that, if that's the case, if I'm doing the same thing you are doing, then no matter what my job is, it should not matter what my job is. Pay me what I'm worth.
Yeah.